Every once in a while, the internet serves up a mystery that you just have to figure out. And that's exactly what we've got today. We stumbled across this local business website that seems to have, well, a bit of an identity crisis. So in this explainer, we're going to get to the bottom of it.
Okay, picture this. It's 2 in the morning, a pipe just burst, and you're desperately Googling for a plumber. You click on a link, and on one side, it's perfect. It's promising 24/7 emergency service for your exact problem. But then, on the other side, it starts talking about the town being settled in the 1830s and some legal case from 1988. It's weird, right? A little jarring, to say the least.
And that really brings us to the core mystery here. Why in the world does your emergency plumber know so much about 19th century land disputes? I mean, a company that does hydrojetting and sump pumps is also a local history buff? It doesn't quite add up. Let's dig in. All right, so first, let's look at what this company is supposed to be. Its main job, no question about it, is to get you to call a plumber.
And wow, they are not messing around. I mean, they're super comprehensive. We're talking everything from your standard burst pipe or clogged drain, all the way to really specialized stuff like plumbing for medical facilities and labs. So yeah, this is no side gig. This is a serious, full-service operation.
And they really want you to know they're pros. The site is just full of words like licensed, insured, highly skilled. They're building that trust, right? They want you to feel confident handing over your plumbing emergency to them.
And this might be the most important thing on the whole site. They say 24/7 and emergency services again and again and again. That's their big promise. Disaster strikes, we're there, no matter the time. Okay, so far so good. Everything checks out.
But then you scroll down, and this is where things take a hard left turn, away from pipes and into the history of Lake Zurich, Illinois. And the level of detail here is just wild. They don't just say, hey, we work in Lake Zurich. Oh no, they give you this whole timeline. We're talking the first settlers in the 1830s when the village was incorporated, even when the first annual Alpine Fest was held. It's a lot.
And believe it or not, it gets even more specific. They start explaining riparian rights, this pretty complicated legal term from a big Illinois Supreme Court case about the actual lake itself. All of a sudden, your plumber is basically a legal historian. What is happening? Okay, and it's not even just the old stuff. The site actually lists the current village president and the members of the board of trustees. It's a full-on civics lesson right there next to the info on faucet repair. The plot just keeps thickening. Okay, so what we have here are basically two totally different websites crammed into one. We've got the 24/7 emergency plumber, and we've got the local historical society. So what's the deal? How do these two things connect?
Yeah, this is the big one. What is the connection between a burst pipe and a 19th century pioneer? Is the owner just a huge history nerd? Did a kid's school project get uploaded by mistake? Well, the real answer is actually way more logical. And it tells us a ton about how the internet works today.
The whole answer boils down to three little letters: SEO, Search Engine Optimization. And what is that? Well, it's basically the science of making sure that when someone searches on Google, your website is the one that pops up.
Here's a really easy way to get it. Think back to school. You're writing a paper, and you know your teacher really loves a certain word or concept. What do? You sprinkle that word in a few times, right? To make sure they notice it. Well, that's exactly what SEO is. But instead of a teacher, you're trying to get noticed by Google's algorithm. And that's the big aha moment. All that history, all those legal terms, the town government info, it's all just a clever way to repeat the keywords Lake Zurich Isle again and again and again. So when someone in that town types plumber near me into Google, this website is practically yelling at the algorithm, hey, over here, I'm the most Lake Zurich-y website in existence. Look at all my Lake Zurich knowledge. Okay, so we've cracked the case of how they're doing this. But now let's zoom out and talk about the why. What does this whole thing really tell us about the world we live in online?
What you're looking at isn't really a history lesson. It's a super modern algorithm-driven marketing strategy. It's content written first for a machine, not a person. The goal is to get a phone call about a leaky pipe, and weirdly enough, the best path to that goal is through facts about 19th century pioneers.
So let's just break it down super simply. The problem the business has is, how do I get local customers to find me when they search online? And the SEO solution is kind of bonkers, but also kind of brilliant. I'll become the #1 online expert on everything related to Lake Zurich. The Google algorithm won't be able to ignore me.
But let's be real, even with this wild strategy, the company's main goal is still crystal clear. Yeah, you might accidentally learn about riparian rights, but at the end of the day, they just want you to know they can fix your pipes. The history is just the bait, the plumbing service is the real catch.
So this thing that we first thought was just a weird quirk, maybe a mistake, it's actually a totally logical marketing plan for the world we live in now. It's a perfect example of how the rules of the internet can create these strange, kind of wonderful new ways of communicating.
And really, that leaves us with one last thing to think about. This plumber's website is a fantastic reminder that so much of what we see online is shaped by forces we don't even notice. So the next time you're browsing and something seems a little off, just ask yourself, who was this written for? Was it written for me, or was it written for the algorithm? Makes you wonder, right? What other stories are hiding out there in plain sight?